Hello everyone, so welcome back to another video. This is coming off the back of a conversation that I'm having on Twitter, and it's primarily to do with the Nepteight armor and how it's used in episode 25 of Re-Rise. And the conversation really is the fact that the Nepteight was only used for a short period, and the person in question that I'm having the conversation with was really upset that it wasn't used more. And when you break everything down, I think that it was used very well, and the thing that it represents is really nice and kind of sad at the same time. So let's get into this. We're going to break down the importance of the role, the context, and what it means overall, and why I don't think we'll see it again. So the Nepteight was built up as this armor system that would solve the last final problem, which was getting out of Eldora's atmosphere. And this is by far the second most important role in the ending of Re-Rise, because the final one is obviously beating Alice. The second one is getting to the place that we need to so we can beat Alice. If we can't get to the location, then there's just nothing that we can do about it. And as a result, that would be the bad ending. The cannon would fire that's in orbit when it's repaired and possibly destroy the rest of the civilization. So, by far, it plays a massive role in getting them out of the atmosphere. And in terms of the overall plan, if it didn't fulfill that role, if it didn't perform well, then we would have got the bad ending. In terms of how it's set up, at the beginning of the episode, they have it teleport in. We know that Crowdon can only carry one mobile suit at a time, and that he's going to be carrying Masaki Shido. So that means that we need some way of getting the other four Gundams out of the Gravwell. Now this happens by using the Vulture Lumia system and charging it with the Rex Buster from Par. And as a result, we get to see them shoot off into the atmosphere. And this scene is absolutely fantastic, and it's punctuated by the actual theme song. And that alone shows that normally the theme song and stuff is reserved for like really dramatic fight scenes or other scenes of great importance. And this, I think, deserves that, primarily because, like I've said before, they didn't go into space, then it would be game over. But it's also, when you look at it from a different angle, that we see later on that it's also one final hurrah, one final celebration of somebody's life. And it goes out in an absolute blaze of glory. And the reason why I say this is because they break atmosphere, and it's a mixture of the Vulture Lumia system doing most of the work, paired with the Ex-Valkylander's Gundam ability to get them that little bit further, and then the last bit is done by Eve herself, which it's implied, at least, that by the final sequence where Hiroto takes Eve's hand and they do break through the Gravwell and end up in space, it's implied by that they had some form of help, and all I can think of is that there is one last little trace of Eve left in the armor. And when you think about it, this also represents Hiroto's final stage of grieving, which the entire show is based on. There are different stages in the show where they go over individual things to do with grieving and regrets and things like that. But the entire theming of Hiroto's story, the main story of the show, has been the stages of grief and getting over them. And this is the final one. This is acceptance. And this is where Hiroto didn't want to finish the suit and didn't want to use it because it meant accepting the fact that Eve wasn't there anymore. That's his reason for it. It reminds him of Eve, and as a result, he didn't want to use it because it would mean saying goodbye. It would mean accepting that she's not there anymore if he finished it. But he finished it with his friends, which is something that he's gained over the course of the show instead of being a loner. The whole reason why he was lonely was one of the other stages. But when you look at all of it together, it's a celebration of Eve's life that goes off in one fantastic final hurrah, getting them into space. She finally helps them, and then the armor purges. The armor's done for, it's short-circuited, or seemingly anyway. It's taken enough stress, and it then gets purged and slowly falls into shadow around the dark side of the planet. And that's where Hiroto says his final goodbye to Eve. And it's both sad, but it's fantastic as a sequence at the same time, because it has a large amount of importance on the mission, and also it allows Hiroto to have some closure to what's happened. And on top of all of this is the fact that I don't think it could have been used any other way, or that I would have wanted it used any other way. Would I have wanted it appearing again after seeing this and breaking it all down? No, because it would kind of take away from that, from all that we'd seen and all that was done in this episode to make it seem so important, and the closure that had been got from it. But also, when you look at the suit that it's based on, the Stargazer itself isn't a combat mobile suit from what I know anyway. It's supposed to be a deep space exploration suit from what I understand. And as a comparison, the Nepteight itself is kind of like a deep space exploration mobile suit. It doesn't look like it's built for combat. It seemingly has no weapons. This also fits with Eve, the fact that she's not really a fighter. She doesn't really enjoy fighting, so it fits more with her peaceful nature. So yeah, would I have wanted to see the Nepteight come back in any shape or form? No. And if it had come back, it wouldn't have been able to do anything else other than fly around. Without any weapons or anything, it is simply just a very powerful propellant system, or propulsion system. But the role that it filled was highly important. The scene that it, or rather the scene that it closed, and the story that it closed of Hiroto's grieving was great. And as a result, they were able to defeat Alice and his space satellite laser. So it's not like it didn't have an important role in the story. It was only there for a little bit, and for its on-screen presence, it was fantastic, for me at least anyway. What do you guys think? I'll see you in the comments section. Bye!